Hello. Oh, that's the easiest applause I'll get all night. That's on the tech people. Thank you so much. Kirkland, how are you? Enjoying the AC? Very good. Thank you all for joining us tonight for this special presentation of original music inspired by Travis Baldree's breakthrough bestseller, Legends and Lattes. Who's read it? Who listened to the extraordinary audiobook? Who's ever quit a good-paying job and taken a big career risk? All right, good. I like y'all already. My name is Wes Weddell, and I have the extreme privilege of serving as Associate Director for the Bushwick Book Club Seattle, an arts nonprofit that sponsors the creation of new musical works inspired by literature. Since 2010, Bushwick has presented a monthly concert featuring titles ranging from Jane Austen to James Baldwin, commissioning new musical works from over 400 individual artists along the way. In addition to our just completed 2025-2026 Escape Plan main stage season, we are thrilled to partner with KPCU for this spring for a special series of 3 events of original music inspired by brilliant local authors. Can we get a hand for brilliant local authors? People hear the word local applied to things like literature and music, and they think that means something other than good. But we live in a world-class city for literature and for music, and we're so happy to be celebrating that and sharing some of it with you here tonight. The author is also in attendance. Travis is here. So we get to watch him witness the spectacle and share a few thoughts of his own. Here is how this works. 7 musical acts have accepted the challenge of reading Travis Baldree's delicious work, finding inspiration somewhere, writing a song from that inspiration, and sharing it with you tonight. Brand new, never before heard. I'll pretend sound check didn't happen. I'll be just surprised as you are. In addition to hearing these brand new songs, we will also hear from Travis himself. How do you feel about that? That's correct. Our musical performers tonight are Kevin Hyde, Nyce Wyld, Aline Vida, Michael Owcharuk, Mike Buchman, Deb Seymour, and Nova Karina Devonie. Can we give them all a hand? And how about a song? First up is Kevin Hyde. That's the spirit. Kevin Hyde is a self-described Seattle guy who does Seattle guy things. They liked that. He plays with the local band Shadow Pattern, who released an EP titled By Day, By Night in 2023. Kevin has joined Bushwick in the past for original music inspired by The Midnight Library and Moby Dick, 2 books of very different lengths. Please give a warm Bushwick plus Kirkland welcome to Kevin Hyde.
Well, thank you, Wes. Very, very pleased to be back on a Bushwick stage. It's always fun. It's always fun to read the book. It's always fun to be creative and write the music and then, swallow my throat and do it in front of people. Okay, so obviously this is like a different thing. This is special because we have Travis Baldree, the author of the book, and I want to say thank you for the very enjoyable read. I have no idea where you're sitting. Over there. You read a lot. This isn't. This is the first time I've actually maybe read the cozy literature. I think they call it. It's cozy literature, and that. I think that was spot on. It was very enjoyable. You've got. It was full of rich characters and settings and situations, things that make you root for the characters. So you're kind of behind them all the way. I'm looking for inspiration. I kind of connected with, because I read this a lot when I was laying in bed, getting ready, winding down for the night and just being oh, cool. I'm kind of excited to spend the next 30 minutes reading myself to sleep with this cozy literature. And I think when I was looking for a song, what clicked for me is an older memory of coziness, which could be nothing other than, I'm sure this is a shared memory from everybody, is the blockbuster lineup of entertainment for the entire family on ABC Friday nights, TGIF. And if you remember, if you were there, every show on TGIF opened with a fucking banger song. So I was like, yeah, that's it. Legends and Lattes is like the show I'm gonna watch, and this is the opening song. So I got to work writing the Legends and Lattes opening credit song. It's shameless, I know, but also extremely fun. Then I was just like, okay, well, I got to do a bunch of research to figure out the right way to write this specific kind of song. And it turns out that there is absolutely a formula. And not only absolutely a formula, but like absolutely most of them are written by like the same two people, which is why they all sound exactly the same. And they all got that like Joe Cocker, like white soul, like, Rrr! So, like, compositionally, I went deep. I was just like, I just like destructured this whole thing. I watched 137 YouTube videos to like figure out like what makes a song like that click. And I will spare you that part. But like, you know, there's a lot of different kinds. Some of them are really on the nose. Like there was a man, his name was Brady. Okay, that's like, it's too on the nose. So the best songs are the ones that they're generic enough that they could be, that the parent corporation could release a single, but it also is definitely about the show that you're about to watch. So that's kind of like, and Legends and Lattes is definitely oh yeah, it's all there. You don't have to say that Tony Danza's in it to know who's the boss, right? So, just trying to set the stage. Because, it's obviously not going to sound like that on an acoustic guitar, but close your eyes. Put on your PJs. Got your bowl of popcorn. You snap open a Crystal Pepsi. You snug up on that Hyde sofa in the basement TV room. And you tune into a very special episode of Legends and Lattes. I don't need these anymore. Is that on now?
With my back so bruised and busted from life on the road, and I look at the footsteps behind me and think of someone I used to know. Well, it's a sorry situation when you're looking for a home, hoping for some luck and clutching to a stone. It was a time in my life when I thought I'd always roam, but the final destination is a story to be told. And I look inside and I'm gonna decide to be somebody different than I used to be. I'm gonna survive and I'm gonna try to be worthy of the love that you give to me. I need a carpenter to patch me up in a dream to set me free. I need something warm inside my cup, need to break bread with a new company. It's a hard line to toe, but it's the only way to live, when the profit isn't dollars, but the love that you can give. And I look inside and I'm gonna decide to be somebody different than I used to be. I'm gonna try, I'm gonna survive, and be worthy of the love that you give to me. And it's like an epic saxophone solo right here. Well, the hard times keep coming, the way they always do, but I can face them standing if I'm standing next to you. And I look inside and I'm gonna decide to be somebody different than I used to be. And I'm gonna try, I'm gonna survive, gonna be worthy of the love that you give to me. I look inside, I I'm gonna try. I wanna weather that I used to be. Yeah, I'm gonna decide. I'm gonna try to be worthy of the love that you give to me. Now I know it isn't a fantasy.
All right, thank you very much. Kevin Hyde. Oh, that's a hit. That's a hit. Yeah. If you... If you want to record a hit with Kevin, visit him at the recording studio Dismal Niche in Ballard that he's just become a partner in. Once again, Kevin Hyde. All right. Up next, we have Nyce Wyld, blending the talents of Amy Laybourne and Javis Johns into a captivating and genre-bending fusion of folk and hip-hop. Through their powerful voices and diverse musical backgrounds, they deliver a sound that inspires and uplifts. Their music is driven by a shared message of connection and healing, united by the belief that music is medicine. They've joined us in the past for original music inspired by Stamped, Racism, Anti-Racism, and You, and Amy has also done a few solo appearances. Nyce. Wait, who's who? Or is it like a Hootie and the Blowfish situation? Okay, all right, check back.
It kind of depends on the day, you know.
You need a theme song. Nyce Wyld.
Thank you so much.
Hello, thank you.
So excited to be here and represent this book. We found a lot to write about and a lot to be inspired by. My first reading, I was kind of like, fantasy. I'm not into fantasy. But then as I went back through, it's like there's a lot going on about restarting, finding another path. And I could definitely relate to that because I've reinvented myself as a musician in the last 10 years. And it's not easy, and you kind of want to pretend to be somebody else and leave parts of you behind and pretend you're not as old as you are, or things like that. And it's true, you got to pretend to be cool. But what I've learned over time is that, you got to embrace who you are and the things that you carry with you from your path of life. So we kind of brought that into the song as well.
Totally. And, through life, it's just always about changing. We're always going through new phases and trying to reinvent ourselves at every stage. So reading this book just made me think about, the time when I was a little guy, and I was like, all right, when I get to this age, I'm going to be this, that, and the third. And then life happens, and you're like, oh, well, looks like we're doing something different then now, and we're going to find a way to do this. We're going to try to find a way to do it right, And one of the things that really inspired me about this book was that Viv, the main character, she inspired, or she was wanting to make a positive change. She was trying to go from like pulling herself out of the dirt and pulling herself out of the battlefield to like, how can I go about this right and do something good for not just for me, but for everybody? I feel like the world needs a lot more of that.
Definitely, yeah. So we were inspired by the sword and the name Black Blood for the sword, and the way that can kind of refer to the coffee, it can refer to the warring, it can refer to just the whole spirit that lives within you. So our song is called Black Blood in My Veins. Ready? Yeah, 2, 3, 4.
Sick of all this blood and bullshit in my way.
Ain't too much to lose, but how much can I take?
I'm pushing through the smoke and ash, undaunted by the pain.
Put that blood in my cup and keep that black blood in my veins.
A relic from another world, old business is engraved.
Trying to flee the trap of what I am, trying to see beyond this face.
Forever fighting demons from the hills of yesterday.
Crippled by the beast inside, the one foe I can't slay.
When I say I've been a savage, too many days in the fray doing damage. 2,200 different ways I could manage to handle you. Please don't make me be an animal. But now I'm getting pressed by the madrigal. I just want to sip a bean water on the avenue. I've been trying to find a way to keep my life casual, like money ain't a thing, but it is, and that's factual. Killer for the capital, trying to move lateral. Made by the pain in the game is still rational. Now that only a fraction of my black blood remains, give me that black blood and the black blood in my veins.
Keep these eyes afire, forever fighting freedom's lies, fortify the path that leads inside. And I ain't here to do the things I've always done before. Strong box burning in my hands, strong box beating in my soul. And as I cobble up these dreams, won't forget from where I came, 'cause that's the life that carried me, the black blood in these veins. Black blood in my veins.
I'm sick of all this mud and blood and bullshit in my way.
Put black blood in my cup and keep that black blood in my veins.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you to Bushwick for having us play, and thank you to Travis for writing that book. Man, it was really an inspiration to read.
Nyce and Wyld. You guessed which is which. Who is who? You can catch them on July 23rd at Connor Byrne Pub in Ballard. All right, we're going to bring Travis Baldree up for a question, again, just to prove that he's here. We'll do a longer Q. Oh, there you go. All right, you stand where I was standing. That's for you.
Hello, hello.
And
ooh, that's blinding.
And I'll be over here. This is good. We'll do a longer Q&A at the end. Oh, this is good because you're up now, and so you get to hear me introduce you. So I bothered to write it, so I'm going to read it. Yeah. And I like you're up front. This is good. Travis Baldree loves stories and loves telling them. And he's told a lot of them, having voiced hundreds of audiobooks. He used to develop video games, and some pretty popular ones at that. And in 2021, a friend roped him into the NaNoWriMo Challenge. Has anybody here done that? Right, the month of November, you try to write a whole novel in the month. Make your plans. It's coming up. And in 26 days, wrote most of what would become his debut novel. Self-published at first before being picked up by Macmillan's Tor Arm, that delightful book, Legends and Lattes, is a novel of high fantasy and low stakes that was a finalist for the 2023 Hugo Award for Best Novel and earned Baldree the 2023 Astounding Award for Best New Writer. Of course, he narrated the audiobook, and that was also nominated for an Audie Award for Fantasy. Perhaps most importantly, we went to the same middle school.
That is the most important thing.
Yeah. Please give a rich and full-bodied welcome to Travis Baldree.
Thank you very much.
All right, softball question first. What is your go-to coffee order?
Well, if I am feeling ambitious and someone else is making it, the coffee that was introduced to me at the late lamented El Diablo Coffee Company over in Queen Anne, was a Mezzo Mezzo, which was a little bit of raw sugar steamed in the bottom of the cup, 2 shots, a little bit of hot water, a little bit of steamed milk. And so if I can get that, I do. But when I'm lazy, it's just an Americano.
Good answer. That's correct. All right. I know you have a long history with video games, but tell us a little about your history with role-playing games. And if you want, tell us your go-to character to play.
The last time that I really played D&D for real was high school, because it was the last time I actually found a group and could actually meet anyone to play. And we played in the cafeteria in high school. And ever since then, all of my role-playing has been digital. So I have played all the Baldur's Gate series and pretty much all of the Infinity Engine games. At this point, I've only played the prologue of Baldur's Gate 3 about 5 times because it takes about 3 hours, and every time I finish, I'm out of time and I forget what happened when I come back to it. So I don't expect to ever finish that. And I am really all about the party. I always play, sadly, the most boring character that you can possibly play, some sword and board nobody, because I want Minsk in my party, and I want Emoen, and I want someone with, a space hamster. So I care about all the other weirdos, which I think is probably reflected in the kind of books I write, because they're just filled with all the other weirdos.
That's also correct.
2 for 2.
That's good. Travis Baldree. We'll have Travis back. And again, at the end, full Q&A. More music coming your way now. Known for a rich, expressive voice and emotionally driven music, Aline Vida blends blues, soul, and acoustic storytelling into a sound uniquely her own. A California native and graduate of the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, Aline has performed around the world. Her song Secrets and Lies, co-written with Warren Grant, was featured in the Emmy-nominated TV series Justified. Aline has joined Bushwick in the past for original music inspired by Glory, Red at the Bone, and The Devil's Highway. Aline Vida.
Well, this is a beautiful venue, and I'm really grateful to be able to sing to you. It took me a while, honestly, to connect to the book because I normally don't read books that are fantasy-oriented. I usually read about business, so or self-help or spiritual books. So I like the Bushwick Book Club because it gets us out of our routine and maybe read something that you wouldn't normally choose on your own volition. So one of the things that I really related to in the book is I admire that the main character, she decided to go against the grain. She was very good at fighting, but she decided to do something totally rogue and build a coffee house, and she found a lot of people that helped her. And even after they built it, it burned to the ground. But she got another chance to see what I call the real ones. So those are the people that show up when things may not be all perfect. Those are your true friends and family.
It's purple night.
Aline Vida. You can catch Aline at regular appearances at SeaTac Airport, and we'll also be part of a concert series at Lake Oswego this summer. So if you're headed south, take a look at that. You may have noticed there are cameras and people operating them. KPCU is filming tonight. We will be releasing this at a date TBD, but the last video in our 3-event series, we had in February, we did original music inspired by Kira Jane Buxton's Hollow Kingdom. In March, we did original music inspired by Garth Stein and the Art of Racing in the Rain. That video will go live tomorrow. So if you're not doing anything, you want to hear what Garth Stein had to say about the questions I asked him on the YouTube tomorrow. Michael Owcharuk, hello, is a composer and pianist who stays plenty busy around the region, from being a staff accompanist for Pacific Northwest Ballet School to composing and performing for gigs, concerts, theater, and dance. Michael is a proud AFM Local 76-493 union member doing advocacy work for all musicians in our region. He has joined us in the past for original music inspired by 1984, The Sparrow, The Dark Knight Returns, Sandman, Mouse, Pride and Prejudice, The Dispossessed, Dune, and many more. Michael Owcharuk.
Thank you, Wes. Hi, everybody. So I got an instrumental piece for you here, and I think you like a lot. I don't read a whole lot of fantasy, or not even that. I do read fantasy, but I don't read a lot of like feel-good books. I usually read like dark speculative fiction that I'm like, for like days afterwards. So it was really nice to read something heartwarming, and I thought it was a really great story. And I do play D&D. I'm a fan. We're about over 2 years deep of a regular weekly game with my party, so that's pretty cool, right? Yeah. We're playing tomorrow night. And like Viv and her old party of adventurers, I adventured with a party of my own in my younger days for quite a few years all over the world. A group of us that traveled together and did all kinds of things. And then moved here and started over and started a new life and collected a new party of people, you know, like she did with Cal and Tandri and Thimble, and I gotta say Amity, the dire cat. Gotta love the dire cat, it's my favorite. So I wrote a piece called Black Blood Rondo. Rondo is a compositional form where you hear a theme repeated. So you'll have like an A section, that's the theme, then the B section, that'll be another, you know, either something contrasting or something developing the original theme, and then you go back to the first theme, and then now you have another section does the same thing, and on and on and on, and they can go on forever or they can be really short, just depends, and a lot of composers takes a lot of different liberties with that form. So it's kind of, the main theme is Viv looking, you know, whenever something is not going right with the shop, how she would always look back at the sword, right? Or look back before it got hung up on the wall when it was just up in the bedroom. And so the main theme represents her like, oh, you know, did I do the right thing? Should I be back out there? I'm really just good at the killing thing with the sword. Like, should I be making coffee? So that's the inspiration for that. So here we go. Thank you. Thank you very much, folks.
Michael Owcharuk. You can catch Michael every other Sunday at the Zigzag Cafe and at Bumbershoot, where he's curating a local dance and music showcase. I'm going to come on this side of you. All right. Making his first appearance with the Bushwick Book Club Seattle. Yeah, it's worth it. Yeah. Mike Buchman picked up the guitar as a 42-year-old and began writing songs and performing out soon after. His music draws deep from the wells of personal reflection and social justice, with observation and storytelling skills honed from experience as a journalist, a poet and fiction writer, and as communications director at a human services and social justice agency. Please give a warm first-time welcome to Mike Buchman.
Thank you, Wes. Thanks, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Yeah, all right. What a great read. Thank you, Travis. What a great book. And, you know, as you have this assignment to, like, draw a song out of a book, you kind of go through, and I was taking all sorts of notes, you know, and writing down. First, I thought, I'll use as much as Travis's words as possible. And of course, that's not really fair. Like, just read the book, right? And there's the temptation to want to recap the whole story. So my first song was about 13 or 14 verses long, and I didn't think anybody would really want to listen to all that. But I did kind of come up with what for me was the centerpiece of why this book drew me in, and what was so compelling, I think, to the characters in the book. You start out, you know, with the idea that the Scalvert Stone is what's drawing Viv on and drawing people to the Legends and Lattes Cafe. And I think that's a red herring. I think what's really drawing people in is the sweet cinnamon. I was pulled by the ley lines to a new country, to leave my adventuring ways, driven by the call of roasted beans to build Thune's first cafe. Sweet cinnamon, your perfume drew them in. Sweet cinnamon, sweet cinnamon, your perfume drew them in. Sweet cinnamon. I hung up my sword, threw my lot in with dire cat, hob, and succubus. And when the Ratkin Baker thimble appeared, our cafe attracted notice. Sweet cinnamon, your perfume drew them in. Sweet cinnamon, sweet cinnamon, your perfume drew them in. Sweet cinnamon. One of my old crew, an elf called Fennis, tracked me down in jealousy and spite. He didn't think I'd given him fair share of the spoils of our last fight. Sweet cinnamon, your perfume drew him in. Sweet cinnamon, sweet cinnamon, your perfume drew him in. Sweet cinnamon. No one can fully escape the actions of their past. Revenge came in green flames. no sword could protect us. The destruction of the cafe. Things don't have to stay as they are. There's love that flames can't consume. So we built again, me and my friends. Love, coffee, and cinnamon filling the room. Sweet cinnamon, your perfume drew us in. Sweet cinnamon, sweet cinnamon, your perfume drew us in. Sweet cinnamon, sweet. Thank you very much. Thank you, Bushwick. Thank you, Travis. Great read.
Mike Buchman. You can catch Mike at Porch Fest Edmonds on July 12th. Let's bring Travis back up for another question. Oh, they are on it here at KPC. Travis.
Yes.
There's a sweetness to the characters and the story that I think a lot of readers and reviewers didn't expect from this genre, especially at the depth that you offer. Are there other works that inspired this direction? Or did you largely feel like you had to forge this branch of this path on your own?
I mean, I think that there's been a lot of books that have kind of headed in this direction for a really long time. I think cozy fantasies really existed for ages. If you think about The Hobbit, it's basically cozy fantasy. All he wants to do is go back home to his larder and have tea and baked goods. And I think he's unconscious for the entire battle with the dragon at the end. So The Hobbit feels like quintessential cozy fantasy. I really liked the Redwall books by Brian Jakes, which is probably why I have talking rat people and that there's a lot of food. And I think that Terry Pratchett is kind of basically, in a lot of ways, cozy fantasy. He uses fantasy to talk about stuff that everyday people care about. There's not a lot of big battles and wars. We're talking about just normal human beings and normal human concerns. And so I think all this stuff has existed, and I'm sure it's been in the mulch pile of my brain ever since I started reading this stuff as a kid.
Correct.
3 for 3. You need to ask me something I'm going to screw up.
All right, well, I'll work on that for the Q&A. Travis Baldree. More to come. But first, more music. Another first-timer. Another first-time Bushwicker. Oh, yes. Deb Seymour retired from a successful career as a web developer in 2019 and set out to rekindle her youthful years as a full-time touring songwriter. A dedicated professional deciding to hang it up and try something new. Interesting premise. Plans to return to the road in 2020 were abruptly sidelined, but like her music, Deb's creative spirit proved impossible to silence. Beyond the stage, Deb connects with an international audience through her weekly live stream, Brunch with Deb, simulcast every Sunday on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Please give another warm first-time welcome to Deb Seymour.
Hello, Kirkland. It is an honor to be at my first Bushwick Book Club event as a performer. I'm Deb Seymour. I live in Ballard, and I am wearing tonight my Territories attire, Renaissance Fair for Fakes, and I am holding who? Black Blood. Woo! We've heard many references to Black Blood tonight about being in the blood and being in a beautiful instrumental piece. But have we heard from Black Blood yet? We have not until now. Because you see, in reading Legends and Lattes, all of the opinions were from Viv, our heroine's point of view. That's called third person limited for you English majors out there. But there are all these other characters, such as what about Thimble, the baker? How did he learn to bake? What about the old lady across the street? What else has she seen? But most importantly to me, what about Black Blood? Did anyone ask Black Blood how it felt about being pulled off of the marauding path and hung on a cafe wall? To be ignored, neglected, and then burnt in a fire? Well, here's what Black Blood has to think. My name is Black Blood. I once was a sword of strength and glory, but now I'm just a replica, and no one knows my story. Forged in fire, made of steel, crafted not by chance, sir, imprisoned in a book of power by a necromancer, until an orc reached in her hand and pulled me to my freedom, and at her touch I knew at once that we would be quite fearsome. With Rackham's band we roved the world, a gang of mercenaries, a dwarf, a gnome, a stone fae, we killed when necessary. But then there came the Scalward Queen, a magic stone inside her. The orc said, it will be mine, and not to be divided. Oh, my name is Black Blood, I once was a sword of fame and glory, but now I'm just a replica, no one knows my story. With their stone there came a change on my orc lady. She said she tired of the fight and would open a cafe. She never asked me how I felt about this change in direction. I'd say with tears I hate it here, this inattention. Oh, my name is Black Blood, I once was a sword of strength and glory, but now I'm stuck in a cafe sign and no one knows my story. Changes come to everyone, without them we would smother, but just 'cause change is good for one, is it for the other? Please look at me, my lady, I was your boon companion, but if you would but just touch me once, I'd still be your champion. But then they came her enemies to steal the magic treasures, lit a fire with hate and ire, then burnt the cafe for good measure. She barely gave a Blackbird's glance as she left me to melt dough, and all I am is quite distress, a piece of burnt up, broken metal. Her lover came in later to retrieve me from the ashes. She took my pieces and meant to make some patches. She made me a facsimile and in wood did embed me, stuck in this sign for all time, such a sad and starry ending. Oh, my name is Black Blood, I once was a sword of strength and glory, but now I'm stuck in a cafe sign and no one knows my story. Oh, my name is Black Blood, I once was a sword of strength and glory, but now I'm just a replica and nobody knows. And nobody knows, and nobody knows my sad story.
Deb Seymour, breaking your heart. You can catch Deb this Saturday, the 27th. At a house concert. And if you want to know where that house concert is, you should ask Deb. And if you want to know where to ask Deb where that house concert is, you should go to the Bushwick table after we're done in the lobby. That's the table right next to the table for Book Tree, where you can buy Travis's books. You guys have been wooing everything except that all night. Oh. And that book tree table, thank you, book tree, for all you do, is next to the table where Travis will be signing copies of books as well. So the lobby will be the place to be when we're done here. But we're not done here. There's one more song. And before that song, I want to thank a handful of people. Can we give a round of applause to AJ running sound tonight? It's a lot of inputs and a lot of egos. And our tech makes it look easy. This is Aaron. Not only is Aaron video captain, he's also stage handing tonight. All right. Kit is our house manager. Kit made sure the sword was safe. And a lot of other very important things, but that was my favorite of the night. And the rest of the crew, Michael, Sam, Xander. Can we give a hand for them as well? That's all. I said 7 names, right? There's plenty of folk. The box office, the lobby as well. Great that we have this place here. I know you saw the slides on the way in of all the upcoming events. Make a KPC outing a regular part of your life. All right, our last song tonight comes from Nova Karina Devonie, who hails originally from Vancouver, BC, and has been delighting audiences with her sensitive accordion, sonorous singing, and sideways sense of style since the 1980s. You wrote it. Don't look at me like that. I just moved a couple of things around. She moved to Seattle to join the swingabilly cowgirl band Ranch Romance and stayed to make it her home once that band ended its touring days. She now teaches private accordion lessons because people out there want all sorts of things and performs regularly with several bands, including Miles and Karina and the Buckaroosters. Nova has joined us in the past for original music inspired by Alice in Wonderland and Ted Chiang's Exhalation. Nova Karina Devonie.
Thank you, Wes. Very happy to be here, happy to be doing a Bushwick event. They're always so inspiring. Delighted to meet the author. What a thrill. And like many other people, inspired by someone wanting to change everything, to do something different and how brave that is. And also thinking about when people view you a certain way, they see you as something, and it might be hard to get past that. I was imagining going into the coffee shop and possibly being afraid, but knowing what's in someone's heart and what they want to do and seeing them try to do it gives you a chance to look deeper. So this is a new song, like all of the songs, and there's not really a sing-along, but there is something that repeats. And if you feel moved, I invite you to sing. All right. This is called Just Wanna Make Coffee. I have been a fighter most all my life. Now I just want to have some peace and quiet, a place to sit and think a while. Everyone is welcome, everyone is welcome, no matter your style. I don't want to fight, I just want to make you coffee. I don't want to chop your head off, just want to make coffee for you. That was it. You know the magic happens when you decide to take a step, to face the fear, to be alive. Have a sip of your heart's desire. Everyone is welcome, everyone is welcome. Come on in, give it a try. I don't want to fight, I just want to make you coffee. I don't want to chop your head off, just want to make coffee for you. It's brewing, something's really brewing. You may think it's coffee, but it's more than that. It's more than just heat and steam. It's a hope, it's a dream. It's brewing, I can feel a storm is brewing, but I'll break through the dark clouds and so will my friends. And then we'll drink coffee. Let's heat up ideas, make a dream come true. Taste the comfort, feel the warmth, I'll make it for you. Life is beauty and so are you. Talk and laughter and music too. Everyone is welcome, everyone is welcome. Take a break, join a new crew, sit and talk, it's what we do. I don't want to fight, I just want to make you coffee. I don't want to chop your head off, just want to make coffee. Again, I don't want to fight, I just want to make you coffee. I don't want to chop your head off, just want to make coffee. Drink coffee, have coffee with you. With you. Your order's ready.
Nova, Karina, Devonie. You can catch Nova on Friday at the Shack on Vashon Island with the Buckaroosters, the all Buck Owens all of the time except sometimes tribute band. One of my favorites. Can we get another hand for all the musicians we heard from tonight? Kevin Hyde, Nyce Wyld, Aline Vida, Michael Owcharuk, Mike Buchman, Deb Seymour, and Nova Karina Devonie. All of them have websites, mailing lists, places to find them, places you can support them. Remember, a Spotify stream is 3/10 of a penny maybe, and a sign up on an email list is a chance to hear what they actually want to tell you. All right, let's bring Travis back. You've heard my softball questions. Now let's hear from you.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah. Can we get a little bit of house lights? And if you hear us repeating the question back, that is not our attempt to mansplain or explain, if you will. It is about the video archive, making sure everything is clear. Who's got a question for Travis?
This is going to be the easiest thing ever.
When are we going to learn about Thimble's background?
The question is, when are we going to learn about Thimble's background? Now we've said it twice.
Okay, I can go.
All right. Actually, in October. I wrote a series of shorts for Subterranean Press that's called Tales from the Territory, comes out in October, and one of them is about Thimble and exactly what happened to Thimble leading up to the events of him showing up in Legends and Lattes the very first time. So, hopefully, you will be moderately satisfied. Yes?
I love your video games. What was the moment you decided to leave games and start writing?
So the question is, what was the moment I decided to leave games and start writing? Well, I didn't go straight to writing. I made video games for 20-something years. Went through many generations of technology, and went through the evolution of the interactions between people who play games and people who make games. And I read all the forums, all of them. It just came to a point where I felt like I had done that. And it was just going to be doing it again. And I had been narrating audiobooks as a hobby in a really terrible makeshift booth up on Queen Anne. And people kept asking me to do it, and I enjoyed doing it, and it kind of put me back in touch with books, basically, and book people. And book people are just good people. And it was good vibes, and it came to a point where I said, you know what, I'm gonna retire from games, and I'm just gonna record audiobooks full time. And I still record audiobooks, I still love doing it, but kind of being put back in touch with books, more or less kind of rekindled an interest in writing at all. I sort of gave it up when I was younger, because I wrote the worst, like, Wheel of Time sort of pastiche that you could possibly imagine when I was in high school. It was really, really dire. And I tried many more times to write a novel, and I failed every time, and I just kind of gave it up as a bad job. Until, as he mentioned earlier, a friend of mine challenged me to write a book again for NaNoWriMo. So switching to writing books was totally accidental, honestly. It was not in the plan at all. I just feel really lucky that it kind of worked out. Did I over-answer your question? I feel like yes.
Yeah, I saw a lot of these, very few of this. So I think you were, I think it was pretty good.
Who else wants an over-answered question? Yes.
Did you consider going traditional publishing at all, or did you just say, what the hell, is self-pub it, because you knew about the industry?
So the question is whether I considered trying to traditionally publish the book in the first place rather than go self-published. And the answer is really no, because I honestly didn't expect anybody to read the book. I wrote it, and because I worked with so many authors and I like to learn stuff, I wanted to go through the process of publishing it. And spoiler, the most successful authors that I know are all self-published. The ones that actually make a living doing it are all self-pub these days, because the bad smell of vanity press is long gone. Also, they're all very kind of free with telling you how things worked. So I learned about the publishing process and went ahead and self-published it, and it just never crossed my mind to go through the process of getting an agent and submitting and then waiting for maybe a year for somebody to get back to you. And it just didn't seem like something I would really attempt to do. Even now that I am traditionally published, if I could go back in time, I would still self-publish again. And if I was ever worried at all about the time it would take me to get a book published, I would self-publish, because it allows you to fail really quickly or succeed really quickly. Like, for me, I want instant gratification. So if I write a book, I want to know immediately if anyone hates it or if they like it, so that if they hate it, I can either fix it or move on to something else, rather than wait on tenterhooks for a year to 2 years to find out if indeed everyone thinks it's trash. So I like that ability to get the immediate feedback, and I would probably still do that again. Over-answered.
I want to ask one here, and I get to because I have a microphone. What was the interaction like when Macmillan reached out, like transitioning, like moving it over to traditional publishing? Was it boring and sterile? Was it interesting?
Well, it's all interesting because it's all for the first time for me. And my impression after having done it, before I say how it went for me, is that this is happening a lot more these days. So I put the book, I didn't actually even get the book put out, really. I said I was going to publish it. I posted like the cover art. Shauna McGuire, who is also local and amazing and is basically my fairy godmother, retweeted that at the time, and a lot of people were suddenly interested in the book. And then I released it, and people still bought it, and it was all very surprising. And then I had agents reach out to me, because I think agents have figured out that if the book is already successful, it really increases the chances that you're going to be able to sell it to a publisher as long as you haven't granted some of your rights to someone else. So I had 3 different agents reach out to me after the book was successful, and I just kind of picked the one I vibed with the most because I didn't know what I was doing. And then she took it out on submission to various different publishers, and I had several publishers interested, but Tor was the first, and I'm a big fan of Tor. I have read Tor fantasy books and sci-fi since I was a kid. I love the way they treat their fiction, so it was a weird sort of roundabout process.
Thank you. Correct.
I'm scoring so well.
Right.
Any other questions? Yes?
Did you know how the story was going to unfold when you started writing, or was that something that happened along the way?
The question is, did I know how the story was going to unfold while I was writing, or did I find that out along the way? So I'm going to answer this one also in an over-answery way. I always wanted to be, there's a couple kinds of writers that you have a pantser, someone who goes by the seat of their pants and they just write and cool stuff comes out and it's very neat and transcendent and the words just flow from you and it's cool. And then there are plotters who have to write it all down ahead of time so they know where they're going. And I always desperately wanted to be one of the former because that sounded good and also didn't involve any work ahead of time. But apparently this was a critical failure and the reason that I never was able to actually get anything written. So it turns out I am a plotter. I have to actually know what's going to happen. So for the first time for Legends and Lattes, I actually wrote an outline. And but it was kind of a non-standard outline. I wrote it in paragraph form. Every chapter was like a little version of the chapter. So if you read it all out, it was just like you were reading the story, but it was short. And that really untangled a lot of things for me. And it still was very hard for me. I'm not one of those people who just writes words and it comes out. I've said before, it's like making a brick every day. I just make a brick. And if I get a brick, great. It's small and it's rectangular and boring. And when I'm all done, I can look back and there's a house and that's really cool. But until then, it's just bricks. But I have to have a plan of bricks to make. So I knew what was going to happen. I will say there are things that I did discover. So if you read the outline of the book and you read the book, you'd say, yes, that is exactly the same book. But there's a large amount of stuff that happens kind of in the margins that should just be a conversation, something that's revealed about a character. The biggest thing I found out was that Viv and Tandri were more than just friends. Because what I really wanted to write at the beginning was just an adult friendship that I would like to have. Like, this is my ideal of an adult friendship, because that's the real escapist fantasy of Legends and Lattes, is finding friends in your 40s. So, but it became apparent about halfway through the book that there was a little bit more to it than that, and I allowed that to happen. But it didn't structurally change the book in any way, because romance was never the A plot. But, so I do discover stuff, but I know most of it. Yes? Somebody else got one up? I'm 50% blind, so. Wait, there's one over there? Oh, okay, yes.
So when you're taking the bricks and putting them together, are you writing from the start of the book to the end of the book, or are you, I'm going to go write the chapter about the fire and then go back?
So the question is, do I basically write the book sequentially, or do I kind of skip around to the parts that I'm interested in? And I have to write sequentially. So I was a software engineer before this, and you can't break the build. You have to build it in order, And there are things that are dependent upon the things that came before, and it really bothers me if there ever is a bug in the software. So I have to go and fix it immediately, so I have to build it linearly. Otherwise, all of these things that I might have found out in the margins haven't accumulated for them to kind of pay off later. And so, yeah, I got to write totally linearly. Yes. Do you want a point?
Oh, I just want to acknowledge that there's a hard to see for us in the
there's a
front
hard
light
to
in the
see for us
back
point.
too.
Okay,
It can happen in whatever
you
order.
will be the very next one.
Yeah.
So you have a guitarist. I think his name was Pendrick,
Mm-hmm.
who plays in the coffee shop. Did you have any particular playlist or artist kind of in mind that you were kind of channeling as you wrote them?
So the question is, I had basically a guitarist and a singer who showed up in the shop, Pendry, and did I myself have a playlist that I listened to while I wrote the book? The answer is yes, and also no. So I have one big playlist of every song that I have ever liked. And because I'm really, really lazy and I don't like to organize things. So I played that, with one exception. There was an album by Jetty Ray that I listened to on repeat. I really like Jetty Ray. If you've not listened to Jetty Ray's music before, it's really fabulous. And I listened to that album at least 40 times while I was writing it. But everything else was just this giant playlist going in the background. I write in my audio recording booth where I record audiobooks because there's nothing else to do in there except listen to the playlist.
Do you listen to that playlist sequentially?
No. It's got to be on random. I need some surprise.
Interesting.
I need some surprise.
Interesting. Yes.
All right, and all the way in the back. The question is, what landscapes most inspired my work? Initially, probably it was the fantasy book covers of the 1990s. The artist Daryl K. Sweet, who basically did like every freaking book cover for a period of like 10 years. If you read anything by Tor, the original like all the Wheel of Time art was Daryl K. Sweet. Yeah, just anything was Daryl K. Sweet. So probably initially that. Because there's all kinds of cool landscapes in those. But then for the second book, it was Port Townsend, actually. So the second book, if you haven't read it, and you probably haven't, I don't know. It's set in a beach town that has a fortress in it, and I really love Port Townsend. It's one of my favorite places to go. I love wandering around in the fort. I just love the vibes, and that was very much in the forefront of my mind. Yes?
So if someone is going to create a video game adaptation of Legends and Lattes, what game designer, living or dead, would you want to adapt?
Oh my God. So if someone was going to make a video game adaptation of Legends and Lattes, what video game designer, living or dead, would I want to do it? First off, I like your DCC shirt. Mongo is appalled. This is really hard, okay, for two reasons. One, if I give you the real answer, it's going to sound like I'm an asshole. Because I made video games for years, and it's like recording the audiobook. Like, I know what I would do. I should just do it. I'm not going to get somebody else to do it. So me, except I don't actually want to do that. I'm done making video games and did it enough. The thing is, it should probably be, I would say, God, who's the guy who made Terraria? Or not Terraria, Stardew Valley. I would have the designer of Stardew Valley do it. Because you have, cool little crafty stuff to do, but also it's relationship-based, and you have the cozy vibes, so that's probably what I do. Or I would have somebody really rapacious like King do like a diner management style game just for phones or Facebook. Really rake in the cash. I know there was more. Yes.
I was wondering if having audiobook experience affected how you wrote, like if it changed your expectations of how it would sound.
So the question is how audiobook narrating experience affected how I wrote. And honestly, it's huge. So the way I write after recording audiobooks and the way I wrote before recording audiobooks is very, very different. Because the thing about recording audiobooks is that you record really, really good books, and you record really, really bad books, and you record really, really mediocre books. And trying to make the most instructive ones are really the bad ones. the ones that you don't like, because they tell you exactly what you don't like and why, because your job is to make it sound good. And when you read to yourself and there's a part that you're not interested in or you don't like, it's not for you, you just sort of skim by it. You know, you're like, a couple, okay, we're done talking about the furniture, we're back to the stuff that I care about. I personally hate descriptions of furniture. But you don't appreciate how much you don't like those things until you have to say them out loud. And I found that when I wrote, before I recorded audiobooks, I just put all that stuff in because it felt like what was supposed to be in a book, because I saw it in a book. It was like reflexive. I saw this phrase, I saw this thing that someone did, this belongs in a book, I guess I will put it in mine. But you don't question why it should be there, because you don't filter it through what you actually care about in the same way that you do after you've had to try to make it sound good for other people. You also, when you're reading really good books, notice the parts that really work for you, because you feel good when you read them out loud. There's no weight, it's like dancing, it's super, super cool. So you notice what you really respond to and you notice what you don't. And it pre-filters all of that for you, so that when you actually sit down to write, you only put in the good parts as far as you're concerned. This is not really an objective measure, it's just your personal preference, but it works. But the other thing that happens is that if you narrate books out loud for thousands of hours, you have an incredibly developed interior voice. You know exactly what you sound like when you say words out loud. And that, you get to do it before you put it on the page. And a lot of authors will tell you that one of the ways they edit or they find out if their dialogue sounds good is they either read it out loud or they have like their computer read it out loud, and it helps them shake out those issues. I get to do that before I even put the words on the page, which is a really, really great shortcut. And if you were a writer and you had several thousand hours to spend reading other people's books out loud, I would say that's a great thing for you to do, but it's just not practical. Yes?
Hi, Travis. Really enjoyed your series of books.
Thank you.
They were awesome. So my question is, you've had 3 careers now.
Yeah.
Any one of them your favorite?
So the question is, I've had 3 careers now, is any one of them my favorite? They've all been good to me for different reasons. Writing books has given me more personally than any other career, because it's the only career where what I put into the books has resulted in like connections to other people that I didn't know were possible. The thing that I found most powerful about writing books is that you can't help but inject your experience into them, and that when other people recognize that experience and tell you about it, it's really, really great. What I said before is it's like a weapon against loneliness. It's this feeling of knowing people that you don't actually know yet. And I haven't gotten that from anything else. I really enjoy narrating other people's audiobooks, but you're really putting frosting on someone else's cake. It's their story and you're just trying to make sure that it connects to somebody else. But having your own connect to somebody is just singularly cool. So yeah, that's got to be it.
One other quick question. So I have listened to quite a few of your other books that you narrated. Do you have a favorite series that you've worked on?
So the question is, do I have a favorite audiobook series that I've worked on? And I have a couple that I really, really loved. Will White's Cradle series is one of the most fun things I've ever gotten to narrate. If you haven't read it, it's like if you took Avatar: The Last Airbender and you combined it with Dragon Ball Z, and it was even funnier. It's got great characters. It's a blast. The series is also finished, so you actually get to complete it. Another one that I really enjoy is called The Ripple System by Kyle Kieran, which is the funniest series I've ever read out loud. It has a talking axe named Frank that's basically Danny DeVito from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And there is a house AI that has to pretend to be a person and becomes a cat lady. And it's amazing. I've enjoyed getting to do some cameos on the Dungeon Crawler Carl books. Those are fun, but I can't really call them mine. I've narrated like 440 books, so I can't remember them all, but those are 2 of my favorites. Oh, yes, right there in the middle.
Who was your favorite character to write, and who was your favorite character, period?
So the question is, who was my favorite character to write, and who was my favorite character, period? This is so hard. Because like I said earlier, I'm the party person. I like the group. Because everybody in isolation is nowhere near as cool as when they have other people around to like bounce off of. Everybody else's favorite is Thimble. and I really like Thimble, and he's certainly the easiest to write because he says almost nothing. I like writing Cal because I think I just like a well-delivered and my favorite character, God. I am going to say that my favorite character is, this is really slow. This is I'm having to figure this out in real time.
We can edit.
Yeah, we'll edit this. Cut this down for time later.
Video.
I can't say Viv because Viv's basically me, and that's really narcissistic. So I'm going to say Tandri. So, any other questions? Yes, up there. Who was my favorite character? The question is, who was my favorite character in the second book and why was it Satchel? It was Satchel, actually. It was Satchel. I love Satchel.
What was the seed of that character, and is there anyone in your life that inspired that personality or voice?
So Satchel was actually a discard character from one of the previous attempts to write that book. So there were 3 different versions of Bookshops and Bone Dust that died, and I harvested the corpses of all of the characters that were in them to reuse them. Originally, if you've read the 3rd book, and you met Zill was actually the protagonist of one of those failed books, and she was a necromancer who created things out of bones and had created Satchel, and he was her pal. And so neither of them ended up doing the things that they initially started to do. Also, I just really like butler characters, and basically Satchel feels like a butler, and I always like the butler characters. Yes?
What unfortunate violence met your finger?
So, I have the real answer and the fake answer.
The question
Which one do you want?
What was unfortunate
Well, I'll give you the fake
violence?
answer first because it's way more interesting. So I'm actually not Travis Baldree. I'm actually created by mitosis. And weirdly, you grow another version of yourself out of your fingers. So I'm only the clone that was sent over to do this. But you have to kind of bandage up the seam. The other one is back, completing moving into another house, which is what I'm in the middle of right now, where he is. I'm just here. The actual answer is that I sliced the entire pad of my left pointer finger off in a ridiculous accident while I was moving. A glass was on the counter and it fell over and was going to roll into the sink, and I slapped my hand down to stop it, but it shattered right before I slapped my hand down onto it and sliced a piece about the size of a little bit larger than a contact lens, just straight off the front of my finger. So if you have a finger thing, and I do, I'm sorry. I have not actually seen the wound. I refuse to look. I'm going to put bling on it. Any more? Yes?
I was just curious if there's any strong parallels between your game design process and your writing process.
Well, the question is if there are any parallels between my game design process and my writing process. There are some. Games for me are very, very different. If you're talking about the creative product, they feel like they're different. Games are about the immediate experience and the person who's playing it, their experience. But if you want to talk about just making them, I said earlier I was an engineer, so I'm very structural in the way that I make things. Everything needs to work. I use source control. If you're an engineer, I think all writers should use source control because you will never lose any draft of anything. And like I said earlier, I need the build not to be broken. If I discover that there is a problem early in the book, it must be fixed immediately before the rest of the book is built on a shaky scaffolding of bad assumptions. And I think there's a lot of parallels in writing between writing and game development in that you're making something creative on a deadline that also needs to entertain someone, and if you fail, you don't eat. So. And there was another one, yeah, right there.
Has anyone ever written a song inspired by any of your books, and have you ever been inspired to write a book by somebody's song?
So the question is, has anyone ever written a song inspired by my books, and have I ever been inspired to write a book because of someone's song? I've had a couple of emails from some people who are theater majors and have written songs as part of a project, which is a really cool experience. This is singularly cool and is easily one of the neatest things I've ever gotten to participate in, so thank you. Again, thank you. They already got a round before, but everybody who has been up here tonight deserves another round of applause. It's so amazing. I'm so humbled. This is a core memory now. Thank you very much. I have probably been inspired by vibes from songs. I mean, I kind of internalize a lot of like my favorite songs, and you know, the emotion or the feeling from those, you kind of get into the mode. And like I said, I listened to the Jetty Ray album like 20 times while I was writing this, and there's a specific kind of vibe to it. It's a little bit mournful, but not too much. It's a single person's voice and limited instrumentation, and it's got kind of a very kind of classic folky feel that felt kind of right to me while I was writing. So I don't know if that's a good answer or not, but just a game attempt. Any more? The question is, when is my next book coming out? Well, I'm working on a book that's not in this series at all. Okay, so I guess there's the simple answer. There's the book of shorts comes out in October, and there's a graphic novel adaptation of Legends and Lattes that comes out in October. The book I'm working on now is not in the Legends and Lattes world. It is about twice as long as the last book, and it's a lot harder to write, and it's called Four Bastards and a Baby. And I assume it will come out next year, God willing, if I can finish writing it by the end of next month.
Wasn't that one of the TV shows on TGIF?
Probably. I can hear the theme song now.
I think we had one up there.
I'm sure you don't have time for pleasure reading, but it sounds like, but what would be on your bedside table?
So the question is, I may not have time for pleasure reading, but if I did, what would be on my bedside table? I really don't have a lot of time for pleasure reading, largely because I'm paid to read other people's books out loud almost every day. So that ends up dominating my reading time. I end up squeaking in like novellas when I can around the edges. I'm hoping for more reading time. The last stuff I read, I really like T. Kingfisher. I'm a big fan of all of her stuff. And what was the last one? Nettle and Bone, I think, was the last one that I read from her, which I thought was great. What else would be on my bedside? I like everything. I like a good mix of stuff. So as long as it's got people I give a crap about, that's what I want to read. Man, I'm going to say T. Kingfisher. That's my latest. Yes. The question is, do I ever approach authors that I like to read their audiobooks? I haven't had time to do that because my schedule has been a couple years out forever. I would love to. You know what I really want to read is a Stephen King book. I really, really want to narrate a Stephen King book. The Dark Tower is like one of my favorite audiobook series, and The Green Mile is like my favorite audiobook of all time. Frank Muller was the narrator on large chunks of those until he passed away, my favorite narrator. So I would love to read a Stephen King book. He writes dialogue that is fun to read aloud. He writes books that are fun to read aloud because he just knows how words are supposed to sound, and the music of language is really, really great. So they feel good to narrate. Yes?
What's your favorite cafe in Seattle?
So the question is, what's my favorite cafe in Seattle and favorite cinnamon roll? My favorite cafe was El Diablo Coffee Company. And I moved to Spokane before it closed. So I think it still has to remain my favorite cafe in Seattle. It was great. I went there for like 15 years through multiple ownerships and redecorations, and it was just like my local cafe. Favorite cinnamon roll? Probably Karina had a good cinnamon roll at some point that I really, really, really enjoyed. And I lived like 2 blocks away, so. I feel like there was one other that I saw somewhere, but was I wrong? No.
I figured I would ask the last one. Many of the ones I had in my back pocket actually already got asked.
Perfect.
But did you ever work as a barista?
Did I ever? No. I have
Really?
never worked. I've never worked in
Really?
food service in my life.
Okay. There was a time in Seattle where you just knew the answer to that.
So I was a farm kid. So I did farm jobs. I bucked hay and I shoveled cow shit. But I didn't want to work in food service. But I knew plenty of baristas, and I had some of them check things over for me.
I baled hay and shoveled, but I also steamed milk. So, yeah.
But you're more well-rounded than I am.
I suppose that's coming from you. That's not. Where was the farm?
A couple different ones. I grew up on a dairy in Texas initially, and also my dad had a hobby farm over in Colfax area of Whitman County, and I was in all the FFAs and 4-H's, and Napoleon Dynamite where they're judging like dirt? Yeah, that's me. I have judged dirt and pieces of meat and sheep and pigs and steers, and I've raised them all.
My sister once showed a rabbit at the Palouse Empire Fair in Colfax.
Yeah, it's a sad little fair.
And the judge asked, "Why is your rabbit different?" It was asked the Passover question of my sister's rabbit, which I think was like she was supposed to know something about the breed or something. And she just turned and said, "'Cause it's mine."
I hope she got the ribbon.
Memories.
Did she get the ribbon?
Yeah, not a blue one.
Not a blue one.
She got a ribbon. Thank you all again for joining us. Can we get a hand for Travis?
Thank you all.
For all he's contributed to our reading enjoyment, our listening enjoyment, for joining us here tonight, for sharing so much of himself. That's great. For all of the musicians, for the staff and the crew, please have Travis sign your book. If you don't have a book to sign, buy 1 or 3. Visit us at the Bushwick table. And I'll end with a simple, I'm Wes Weddell. Take care. Be kind.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right. Now we repair to the lobby of the chair.
Yeah.
Is that the way to?
Yeah, they've got a spot.
Thank you so much.